pressure washing and soft washing, which is pretty quick. Welcome to In Cups this morning. Glad you could come out. Glad you folks could join us online. Let me tell you a little bit about the In Cups before we get started, and then I'll introduce our presenters to you. So our mission here with the In Cups is to lower the barrier to access for education and resources and connections for entrepreneurs. In particular, new entrepreneurs that have just started a business and maybe they are 1 to 5 years old in their business, or maybe even just a startup situation. 1 Million Cups is throughout the United States. In Cherokee County, we've joined together with each of the cities in Cherokee County to create our Cherokee County 1MC. And it works really well. So everyone, Ball Ground, Waleska, Woodstock, all of the cities have come together. And it's a great representation and a great program for entrepreneurs in the area. This is our organizing team, and you'll see some of them around the room here this morning. Now, our culture here is really unique, and actually it's a lot of fun. For me, the thing that steps out in the last little points down there, respectful and considerate. Above all else, we're respectful and considerate. See, entrepreneurs are bringing their babies to us, and they're all cuddly and sweet, and they're ready to roll. And then there is an opportunity for us to help them, to support them in a respectful and considerate manner, providing a safe and supportive environment for them to present their babies to us, to ask questions that to us may be rudimentary, but to them it may be, how do I do this? And it gives them an opportunity to hear inclusive and diverse opinions. So please speak up, ask questions, provide your opinion. We've never had an issue with anyone being not respectful and considerate, but that's the environment that we wanted to foster, and it has worked really well. 1MC here in Cherokee County started in 2018, and it's going great. We are one of 6 in the state of Georgia. You see here in the southeast United States, there's a number of chapters. The key pillars of Million Cups is that their presentations, they're not pitches. Authentic connections, not networking. Run for the community, by the community, and radically and intentionally inclusive. The point is, for 1 Million Cups, is us to get together, have a cup of coffee, hear about a company, help that entrepreneur develop their company, and they may be stuck. They may be 3 years into the business and they've hit a wall and they can't seem to get around that wall. And so they're asking for our input, perhaps. And we'll provide our input to them. Our core program, we meet every first and third Wednesday morning. We'll have one presenter, and they'll present for about 10 minutes or so. And then we'll open up the floor for about 25 minutes or so for questions, answers, giving input. The presenting businesses are less than 5 years old, and they have a desire to learn. We'll finish each of our question and answer session with what can we do as a community to help you. So that's our question to our presenters. And as always, it's free, it's open to the public, and with free coffee. Which is here, I believe. These are our sponsors of 1MC here in Cherokee County. You probably recognize a number of those logos. And if you want to apply, if you want to bring your baby, here are some of the criteria. Again, it's not a sales pitch. It's not an investor pitch. The goal is that people understand what you do and some of the challenges you've had in building your business. Companies that are less than 5 years old and open to community engagement can apply and present at 1MC. If you think you already have all the answers, you probably don't want to present here. Because we'd like to give you feedback. So the important thing is, listen to the feedback. If you want to apply, you can apply at 1millioncups.com/present. You can check in here on our mobile app. or on social media. You see very top there, 1 Million Cups Cherokee and Startup Cherokee, but also at these other sites here as well. And we're on YouTube. Got them all covered. All right. Let me introduce our presenters today, Tom and Lori Devaney. They are of the Innovation Spot. Really neat little concept right here in Woodstock. And so I'd like to bring you guys up, turn it over to you, and tell us about your baby.
Great.
Oh, we don't clean diapers though.
Okay. It's been many years since I've had to clean a diaper myself. Well, good morning and thank you everybody. We reached out to the community once we launched the Innovation Spot, which we actually only opened November, right before the holidays and right in the midst of COVID. So we conceived this idea quite a while back, and Woodstock has been my base of business for many, many years, although we left for quite a while. I launched a CPA practice in Woodstock in 1984, which I ran for about 20 years before moving to Southern California. And that's where I met my wife, Lori, and we were there for a while. And we are probably what you would call serial entrepreneurs. We have owned quite a number of businesses in our 20 years of marriage, from collegiate league baseball teams to pizza restaurants to campgrounds to commercial real estate to residential real estate flipping. And business is just what we do. We just sit around and think about business ideas and then launch them, and I get antsy after a few years and drive my wife crazy and uproot us and go somewhere and start something different. But anyhow, we reached out and contacted the Economic Development Authority here, Misty, who when I first met Misty was in high school and was an intern at Cherokee County Chamber of Commerce when I was a CPA back in the 80s. So this is home for me. Right out of college is where Woodstock was, and we're really excited to be back here and launch this space. So the Innovation Spot is a co-work space, and we had some commercial real estate there and saw a need and decided to execute on that need. So if anyone like old movies or lots of movies or old cartoons, great. So in all your old classic movies and what have you, I asked Lori right before we started, tell me a movie, and I was looking for a specific thing, but what do most old movies have? If they have two main characters, what would you call one of them?
You're looking for the...
Yeah, he didn't. I couldn't hear him. I'm old.
Oh, protagonist.
Protagonist. Okay. That vocabulary is too sophisticated for me. I teach business in the graduate school, but you want to talk numbers, I'm good. But so, how about a villain? Okay. And then who else do we have? If we have a villain, we have what? A hero, very good. So in businesses, we have what? For a successful business, you have to notice something in the market, right? What is that? A problem, right? Or a unmet need, right? So we recognize the problem in the marketplace. Mostly because I've worked out of the house for 15, 20 years now, and then COVID hit. And when I worked out of the house, I had a great office and I had great technology. And my wife would go and teach at the King's Academy, and my kids would go to school, and I could work during the day. And then COVID hit, and I had a 20-year-old, a 17-year-old, my wife, a 100-pound black lab, Amazon coming to my front door 15 times a day. And I'm on conference calls, the dog is barking, the doorbell's ringing. I have a client come over, who knows the volume of music my son might want to play, or who might walk downstairs in a robe or what have you. And I said, I got to get out of the house. I mean, this worked a long time until COVID hit. So here's the problem.
What would it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region, do you think relations with the North may change? I would be surprised if they do.
Okay, so, and as funny as that sounds, that really happened, and that is BBC, that really happened. It happened way before COVID. I was interviewing, I'm on a search committee, I was interviewing for a clinical professor of marketing for our program yesterday, and the candidates are around the world, and we were doing it by Zoom, and no lie, the exact same thing happened. Wife comes in the room behind and has no idea the husband is interviewing for a professor position, and she's messing around in the kitchen and everything else. So this is a real problem. And that's only one little problem when you're working at home, right? A lot of small businesses, we don't just have the distractions, right? We don't have maybe the quality of technology we really need in today's environment. We have isolation. We don't have people that we can just gather in a collaborative workspace and bounce ideas off like we're doing here, right? We're presenting our business and hopefully you give us some great feedback at the end. You're pretty sheltered. So the solution that we implemented there was a limited number of actors in that video as I offered the office park free lunch if they would come down while we shot some pictures, so we didn't have a video that was all empty space. I should have thought about Brandon Judd in the back there. Brandon pictures, and Judd, I could have had you stage the whole thing, get me some real actors so I didn't have to be in all those pictures. But anyway, we are a co-work space that is in the industry we call office as a service, okay? Small businesses, if you need an office to, even if you're working out of your house, you want to meet clients or have a need to go to an office, your traditional leasing options require you to find a place that, you know, maybe just to have an office, you're going to have a little break room, a restroom, some hallways. Then you get into all the cost of insurance and janitorial and supplies, etc. So office as a service, we try to take care of everything for you. All you have to do is show up and work. We have coffee bars and beverages, and we're planning to have learning events like Lunch and Learns, tap in my network of professors and other industry specialists that once a month will run an event in our office for a learning opportunity, not only for our members but for the community. Additionally, just a networking environment. We're going to host one of the mingles for Misty in March. So we want our space to be utilized and to fill it with entrepreneurs who are aggressively trying to grow business and develop the area. You know, downtown Woodstock is just a phenomenal place to be, right? And that's our purpose. So we lease fully furnished offices, private offices. We lease a hot desk. You can come in and just grab a desk, dedicated desk, touchdown offices, an office for a day. The conference rooms, we have two different conference rooms. One's a little huddle room, and then a larger one that sits 12 people. We have been fairly successful or started gaining traction in January. I mean, up till January, I joke, but me and Lori would be there all day long. We opened mid-November, and you know, the phone would ring, and I'd come running out of my office to listen, like, we finally got a phone call, right? And it would be a wrong number. Or it would be a telemarketer or someone who saw that we opened on the website and wanted to sell us something. But we came into January with one private office leased, And we've been running some marketing and advertising. And actually, we got 5 private offices leased right now. We've had our first couple repeat customers where someone came in on our ribbon cutting day. And so the first day someone uses the space, comes in for a hot desk. We're like, well, yeah, you're more than welcome, but there's gonna be a lot of people come through here in a couple hours, so we gotta open out. He said, that's fine, I'm used to that type of environment. Well, he came back the second time last week, and we had another business who is downtown Atlanta in a high rise that they closed due to COVID. He had to meet with his team before year end. He rented the conference room once, and he came back yesterday. So now we're starting to see some repeat customers, and hopefully we're starting to gain some traction with the space. So, primary products that we offer, as I already mentioned, most of them, the private offices, the desk rentals, virtual office services, combined membership plans, conference room meeting rooms. You can go to the website and book a conference room meeting room. You don't need to be a member to do so. We've equipped the facility with the best technology we can get our hands on currently. Our video conferencing capabilities in the large conference room is top of the line equipment, where who's ever speaking, the cameras will sense that and zoom in on that individual. The mics are throughout the room, really good sound bars. Meetings are destroyed by audio, not video. The video is nice, but the audio is what's really important. And that we had a AV specialist design that room for us. So that, and through other businesses, we are offering other services to small businesses. We have a tenant technical resources who are in the facility that can offer IT services. Of course, we're going to offer accountant and tax services, because by trade I'm a CPA and have been for 30, 40 years. We have printing services, and we hope to expand that network of what we can team together and offer, be it advertising or what have you. One of our newest tenants is a business radio station, which is going to be a lot of fun. He's agreed to do some radio days, open days, just invite local businesses and let them come in and interview them about their businesses. He just took a space last week, so he's gearing up to do that as well. So some of the perks we offer is we really were conscious when we were designing the space for the most efficient workspace possible and most comfortable, that you can be as productive as possible. All our desks are sit-stand desk, really nice ergonomic task chairs. Our lighting, we had a lighting engineer design the lights so it's properly color balanced and the right intensity so that your efficiency is high without being burnt out. Security systems, our members have 24/7 access on some of the plans, and we have a keyless entry system called Keysy that's tied in with our Eagle Eye camera platform, so that people can feel safe and secure in there 24/7 and leave their possessions, and we can also monitor the space whether we're there or not. So 24/7 access. We have front desk staffed during normal business hours, and we put a lot of effort into making sure it's a safe environment with COVID and just anything post-COVID, right? I mean, me and Lori were talking, we were in Southern California this weekend, and going through the airports and stuff, you get up and immediately they're wiping down things. Well, realistically, we should have probably been doing some of this stuff a long time ago, right? Flus and colds and what have you. We installed UV lights in our ductwork on our HVAC system, and we installed 4 independent HEPA scrubbers, air filters that run whenever lights are on. The air is being filtered through a HEPA filtration system to keep that safe. Sanitizing practices and touchless components as much as possible, paper dispensers and what have you throughout the space. We built into it. Okay. So, marketing-wise, I guess I'm missing some. Lori really handles most of the marketing. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube and Twitter. We have a 21-year-old who is much more up on the social media than I am, just not my thing, so she maintains that for us. She's at our front desk as well. She is a communications major at KSU, scheduled to graduate a year early in May. So she went August. She went through undergraduate school in 3 years. We're really proud of her. Digital ads, we're running Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. Print advertisement, we have a media campaign going on in the town lake and around Woodstock now, where we're on the inside cover in December. I think we have the front cover in March. We have about a 6-month advertising campaign going. When we get to the end, and where our questions are mostly is in the effectiveness of various media and marketing in the area. When we get to the end, we struggled with this a little bit of how to get the biggest bang for our dollars and get the exposure we need. And network organizations, Cherokee Chamber and in Woodstock, we don't want to, we really like this forum because we don't want to just come ask. I mean, we like community. That's most people who are interested in co-work space want to be around people. We like people. We're people, so to speak. So, you know, we're here. We want to offer help any way we can as well. So whenever you open a business, right, you gotta look at the landscape and see if there's a need in the marketplace and if the need's being filled. And there is competition in this space, in this area. We're standing in one of them, right, the circuit, who's invited us and is allowing us to speak. So it tells you about the competition. Lori and I owned a campground in Cooperstown, New York, and there was 9 other campgrounds. And we went around to all the other campgrounds and said, how can we help? Other ones were taking our billboards down because they were afraid of the competition, and when their equipment was breaking on holidays, we were lending them our equipment. There is competition, and we looked at it, and we think we're all filling a little bit different niche in the market of serviced office, number one. Number two is we think the market's still underserved. The office as a service space has been growing 36% year over year for about the last 4 years. It's much larger in South America and Europe. I go on consulting trips annually with KSU. We take teams down to South America to do consulting, and that's the majority of office space in South America. You go to Peru, Colombia, Argentina, Panama, all the businesses we consult with, they're in shared office spaces. And we think the wave's coming here. So within the immediate area, Thrive up in Canton, we know the owner, Ramon. He's an awesome guy. He helped us tremendously in developing our space, and we're having lunch with him Friday. So again, it's the fact that, yes, there's other players in the market, but we're going to work cooperatively, and we think there's plenty for all of us to be successful. Right? So some of our competitive advantages we think we offer to the traditional office and maybe even some of our co-work spaces is we're the first non-for-profit organization in market in downtown Woodstock, right in this space. So hopefully we have an opportunity to get our feet on the ground and get some exposure. We have all new modern construction. Historically, a lot of your executive suites were older buildings that weren't leasing well, and they retrofitted them a little bit and lease out private offices. Today, you really want the technology built in, and we built that in the design up front. State-of-the-art lighting, furniture, HVAC, video conferencing, the electronic access, and video surveillance, and 24/7 member access. Right, so we have various member options. Would you mind clicking on that link for me?
18 minutes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go quick. I was going slow because I thought I only had 6 minutes, and they told me 10, and now she's telling me I'm running over. So let me go through it. So our member options, we do everything from a dedicated desk to a private office. And if you go to our website, you can find all the various prices, and they're listed there. We also lease out, if you scroll down a little bit to those bank of pictures, that would be the little huddle room. And if you come down a little further for me, please, that would be the large conference room. It's a stand height conference table with large stools, and that one has the really advanced video conferencing equipment in it. Good. Management team is Lori, myself, my daughter. Amanda's working the front and being involved in the community. Lori is really the main operations person. Lori's got an MBA from UC Irvine and is operations and marketing orientated. I have an MBA and I'm a CPA and I'm accountant and finance orientated. So that is the innovation spot. And the question is the effectiveness of various marketing media in this local area, what you might have found to be the most successful and what pans out for you. We are probably using a shotgun approach right now, and that's might be okay for the first few months, but in the long run, that'll bankrupt us as well. So we can't continue to do that. So I'll open it for questions.
So the question is, what you're asking the community is, how can you best market the facility?
Correct.
So you mentioned shotgun. Touch a little bit, just give a minute or so, what are you doing?
Yes.
That's
Okay. So initially we got the website up and had the website designed. We developed a marketing plan with the help of an outside person that calls for regular posting into various social media platforms. Facebook and LinkedIn is basically a way to post, and Instagram. And actually, I should let you handle this question because you're handling all of this.
You're doing fine.
We have pay for click-through type ads going on multiple platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. We are currently, as I said, in the midst of a marketing program with the Town Laker and in Woodstock, a 6-month program of different positions within those two publications for 6 months. So we hit about everything we're aware of, and really our results, 90% are coming from Google. The cheapest of all of them, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pat, we've got a mic, if you could just call over the mic.
So really appreciate your presentation was spot on. You know, sometimes when you give presentations, you hit all the other issues, but the one issue I really would like to know is, where are you located? And I'm just going to tell you that don't overlook that in your marketing. Is maybe create a video, fly, use some kind of drone, fly down Arnold Mill Road, I think is where it is.
Yes.
Fly down and just kind of show people how to get there, or take something off. Just something to show us where you're located. That would be nice.
Yes, excellent. I had to laugh when you said that. What a thing to overlook, right? Yeah, we are 7/10 of a mile from Town Lake Parkway and Main Street up Arnold Mill. We're right past the fire station. So yeah, I was going to put a SWOT analysis in the presentation, but for the time I didn't, and I was going to have our location both as an advantage and a disadvantage. The disadvantage is a lot of co-work space wants to be right in the heart of downtown. They want to walk to the restaurants, etc. We're 7/10 of a mile away. Disadvantage. Advantage, we're 7/10 of a mile away from downtown, and we have parking, and downtown doesn't. So it's a toss-up. But excellent point. Thank you.
Hey, there's a great presentation. I love. Was it present?
Yes.
I'm curious about your cybersecurity. Do the private offices have hardwire internet, or is it all Wi-Fi? And what are you doing on the back end to prevent intrusions?
Yes. So all of the private offices are hardwired. There is a switch, and I wish Scott Levine was here with Technical Resource Solutions. And when I mentioned his name, and someone came to the space and asked about that, who is an IT person, and I said, every connection in our space is secure. And they asked who did it, and I said Technical Resources. They said, we're not going to worry about it. I am not an IT person, but I am to the extreme that they made us secure the server room with a ceiling that someone couldn't climb over the wall and plug into one of their routers. I'm like, really? Nobody's going to do that. But yeah, so I'm told. So yeah, we do have secure 1 gigabyte internet connections in the space.
Tom and Lori, thank y'all. We do have a few questions coming in online. One of those being, have you developed an ideal customer to target in your branding and advertising?
Yes. You want to address the demographics? Do you remember them better than I do?
I don't have it off the top of my head here.
We have. So we did work with a marketing consulting company early on who developed the target demographics for us and developed a basic marketing plan. That demographic was, I want to say, somewhere from 30 to about 50. They gave us target occupations, various professionals, IT, real estate. It is rather broad. I don't think it's a narrow focused market, but we do have a ideal demographic target customer for the facility.
And that's been narrowed down in the Google advertising as well.
Yes.
Got one. Oh, Jeff?
Yeah, I recently finished reading a book by Jonah Berger, who's a marketing professor for the University of Penn, called Contagious. There's several things that kind of resonate with me, but when you think about the experience economy, which is essentially what you guys are kind of building, almost all of your advertising, best advertising, is going to be word of mouth, right? So you have to, in your case, have poignant events at your space that resonate with the local community. Whether the folks in the community are going to be there or use your services or not, those are the types of things that I think are going to serve you the best. Got to do the social media, got to do the online stuff. It's necessary, but I think you're going to see bigger benefits from events or just ingraining yourself experience-wise in the local community.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the time, without being out there too much to be obnoxious and offer something worthwhile.
Yep.
So we are trying to get to that, and just haven't had the opportunities yet.
Yep.
But thank you.
Great presentation. Really looking forward to seeing the space. I noticed that you guys are members of the chamber in Woodstock, and we've seen your daughter at Amanda
Yes.
at Lifehouse a couple different times. A lot of networking stuff that goes on in Cherokee County, and your target market is obviously like entrepreneurs. You mentioned like real estate people. So I might suggest that you make the rounds in regards to not only in Woodstock or Cherokee, the Chamber of Commerce, but there's BNI groups, there's Power Court groups, there's other smaller networking like neighborhood organizations that will let you come visit a time or two and kind of get a feel for make some friends, let people know about the space, real grassroots.
Yep.
It's a slow burn.
Yep.
But it's sustainable.
Yep.
So I would suggest like plugging into some things like that. There's a great group up in Ball Ground. It's got about 140 members. So different things like that might be low-cost opportunities for you to get good bang for your buck.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Trying to get some of those scheduled. Actually, BNI is meeting in our space every Tuesday morning from 7:30 to 9. They're bringing in about 28 people. And Lori gives me my to-do list every week, and for at least a month and a half there, someone invited me to go speak to the Rotary, and I have not gotten around to do it, and it continues to rise to the top of my to-do list. Tom, to go to Rotary with David, so.
Tomorrow at noon at the tavern, I'll buy you lunch if you come to Rotary.
There you go.
I'll be there. Will I be
So
there?
you've got a networking appointment online.
How about next week? Okay. I am on a search committee. We're hiring 2 new professors, and I wound up with the privilege of being on both of them, and they're working me to death with interviews virtually, and so I am booked tomorrow, but I will. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Tom and Lori, we have another question coming online. I know you covered in your presentation your sanitization measures in place, but the question is, how will you handle social distancing or limiting the number of people in the space at one time?
Okay, excellent question. So we installed a touchless thermometer at the front door. So when you walk in, to get into the space, you have to take your temperature, and it'll talk to you, and it'll tell you normal temperature, and you can proceed. If it says abnormal, we won't let you in. We request that you do wear a mask. We do not mandate that you wear a mask. We set up all our desks with the required 6 feet of space between them in the open spaces, and we did install sneeze guards such as this, but these actually don't quite reach the CDC recommendations of 36 inches, so ours are kind of tall, and I don't particularly care for the looks of them, but they're there because that's a recommended solution today. So we are not mandating the mask, but we are keeping the distance, and highly encouraged. And the BNI group that comes in, they bring in 28 people. We stagger tall bar stools through the big open area and put up an additional screen for them because the other rooms, they would have been too close.
I heard that you had hot desks. Do you allow people to come in and rent out your meeting office space? Because it seems like you try and find a place for 8 to 10 people, and it's maybe even on a consistent basis. There's not a lot of good spaces in Woodstock where you can just say, hey, I want to rent a larger meeting space.
Yeah, we have 2 rooms. So if you have depending on the membership plan you have, they include a certain number of hours of meeting room time. For non-members, it is available to rent just on an hourly or daily basis. As I mentioned earlier, we had a connection from the King's Academy. One of the parents of one of Lori's former students saw Lori on LinkedIn that she launched this space. And he's an awesome guy, and he used to come in when she did career days and do mock interviews for the students. And he saw that we had the space, and he works for an aluminum company in Atlanta, a Fortune 500 company in a high-rise that shut down. He said, I need to meet with my team. I need to meet in person. And he came in and used the room for a day. The smaller of the conference rooms is $150 for the day, correct? $50 an hour, and $25 an hour. And the larger conference room, which has the higher end video conferencing equipment included in that, will seat up to 12 very comfortably, is $300 a day or $50 an hour. And you can just go online and book it. And you book it, you reserve it, you pay for it, and it's blocked out calendar-wise for anyone else.
And coffee
We've
too.
got about 5 minutes left. Are you getting, sorry, are you getting the information that you, to answer your questions?
I got a couple of great suggestions. One, I didn't even tell you where I was located. I feel a little foolish about that, but so next time I'll make sure I address that immediately. And the reinforcement of, I can't say I didn't know it, but the reinforcement of making the time to get out in the community really being the best marketed and what's reasonable, right? All it takes is your time.
Sweat it.
Exactly.
That in events too.
And events, yes, yeah.
I apologize if this has already been kind of covered. I may have been busy doing some pictures. So is the challenge that you're facing, like the ask, trying to embed yourself in the community, really getting part of the community, getting more business? Like, what is the challenge specifically? Because you seem to give a great concept with a great foundation.
Yeah, the challenge, I guess, is awareness more than anything. For the community to be aware that we are there. So going up Marble Mill Road at that location, Fastenal is right next door to us. I talk to people in Fastenal, and they want to park a pickup truck out front with the Fastenal logos on the trucks because they said they're there 15 years and people can't find them. They don't even know they're there. They drive right by. Sign ordinances and what have you. We had some flags made, but you're really not supposed to put them out. We have a special event, we'll pop them out or whatever. We're going to comply with all local ordinances and what have you. But the challenge is just for people to know we are there. You know.
Well, then I guess I have a suggestion because you're already doing the obvious stuff. So it's already touched on about the networking side of things, but I think it's more than just a networking event, going to a chamber here. And in terms of sense of community, I'm thinking of the word consistency, where like I look around this room and I see many regulars here, and over time, because you know what people do, so if I need a service, without even thinking, I know we would go to, and I become aware of your brand because we invested in the community. Is there a way where, instead of just looking at as meetings as just an event that you go to get customers, maybe look at events as a way to build relationships and give to the community, and when you start giving, people will not be able to help but see what you do and get the visibility and the conversation.
Yeah, no doubt, and I believe we very much have that philosophy as well. We have always been highly active in volunteering in our community and in different aspects. You know, so whether it be coaching youth soccer teams or being in trail life and, you know, taking boys hiking, you know, a lot of it has been youth type orientated, not even around our business, but ultimately people learn who you are, right? And then they, you know, it just happens organically over time. Okay, it's kind of a catch-22. People want to be in a co-working space with other people, and when there's no other people there, there's kind of a holdback as well. So you got to get that momentum off the ground a little quicker as well than that organic approach all by itself.
So you've identified the areas of your marketing and who you want to sell to. One of the things I did here, I looked up on Google co-working space, and SEO is working pretty good. You came up with the top 3 co-working space near me. I looked up conference room space, I looked up meeting room space, and I didn't find you.
Okay.
So suggestion, work on the SEO part and put the links in that you need to put in, do the ads and such, so that whenever someone will look up, they're going to pull your space in the top 3. Let's say. If not number 1, at least in the top 3.
Yep.
That's good. Any last comments, any last question as we wrap things up? Yeah, that's okay, real fast.
So y'all touched on, the video at the beginning I loved. Y'all touched on the fact that you're obviously home-based businesses is kind of a big target for y'all. How are you going about identifying specifically home-based businesses and going after that target?
Okay.
Okay.
The economic development
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, so one of the first questions when I met with Misty was there a publicly available listing of business licenses within the city of Woodstock?
She gave us Sylvia's
And Sylvia provided us that link and data. So we have that data. We have not done anything with that data yet. We are thinking, we have like rack cards that have some pictures of the facility and the offerings and what have you. We're thinking about a direct mail-in. We have that data and have not moved on it yet, to answer your question. And I'm not quite sure that's our thought, is to take these rack cards and do a direct mail-in. But I don't look at anything I get direct mail. It goes in the garbage before I walk in the house. So what do you think about a direct mail-in as being an effective marketing approach? Will we get any results out of that?
Generally, 1 to 3% will be mail out. Generally.
I might do 2 different things with that data, potentially. I might dump it into like a slide dial campaign or slide broadcast, and then have have voicemails left on these different business things to say, hey, there's a new co-working space in town, you should check it out. Their phone won't even ring, it just leaves a voicemail.
Okay,
It's called Slide Broadcast.
okay.
And then you could also do just there's certain businesses that you truly want to target, just take the time and do a handwritten note. That's what I would suggest.
Great, great input, thank you very much. Give our presenters a hand, please.
Thank you.
Switch with you,
Yeah,
thanks.
I got it.
All right, Heath, if you. So our next meeting is going to be on February 3rd, right here at the circuit. We're going to have a company called Purposely, which is an online marketplace for selling products and supporting causes, which is a pretty neat concept. I've heard of this before. I've talked to a few people in this space, and it really is pretty neat. So this will be a pretty good presentation as well. And let me bring Heath in and turn things over to him.
Thanks so much, Dennis, and thank you all again. Let's everybody give Tom and Lori another round of applause. So a few items I want to bring up. First and foremost, I want to thank our sponsors again, specifically Judd Brandon with Brandon Pictures. Thank you again for helping us out this morning, Judd. I wanted to check to see if it was anyone's first time at 1 Million Cups Cherokee. All right, we got two. Y'all come right on up. We've got an awesome coffee mug for you. Woo. I'm gonna try not to trip over this cord. Thank you for coming. Absolutely. Okay. And also, I wanted to quickly recognize Jonathan Chambers for everything he's done. He also, seriously, thank you for everything you've done. He also brought his awesome team with him, his daughters Gracie and Natalie and their friend Katie, to help us out with the transition today. And last but not least, I want to introduce Jeff Hagedorn. Jeff is going to be helping us out with some of our entrepreneurship programs, so if you haven't met him yet, please feel free to swing by, chat with him a little bit. And on that note, we'll close out. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.